to you is like holding on to smoke. You're drifting through my fingers every time I think I'm getting close, and I go, you know it all. How you wrapped around my mind, you let me fall. You let me fall. You let me fall. You let me fall. Walls I built all tumbled down, barriers of a heart I found, and I want it back. I let you in, kept you company, gave until I couldn't breathe. Do you remember that? Just holding on to you is like holding on to smoke. You're drifting through my fingers every time I think I'm getting close, and I go, you know it all. How I gave you what I had, I gave it all, but you let me fall, fall, fall. You let me fall, fall, fall. You let me fall. You let me fall. You let me fall. You let me. Holding on to you is like holding on to smoke. Drifting through my fingers every time I think I'm getting close, and I'll call. You know it all. How you wrapped around my mind, you let me fall. You let me fall. You let me fall. GrownFolks Production. With the commish, Nate.
It's time to go.
We are smashing all the buttons manually here. We got to have it working. I can't smash the like button until I hear what y'all got to say. Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair, Bird. Screw you while you're at it, okay? I just want to throw that one out there. Let me welcome in my two guys here to the show. Listen, I'm doing all this manually. Brand new stream layout. I've been making things for the last like 3 days, staying up to 1 in-the-morning, and it all isn't perfect, but we're getting there. Let me, yeah, this is where I want to be. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing today? Out of humans there.
A spanky looking crowd.
Yeah, you couldn't see them because I had to re-add them. Okay, Big Hurt, you got to pause. Just give me a second. Big Hurt, are you around? I was nervous about inviting Trey because I knew this was going to turn into a 19-hour show. So we just got a great crotch shot of Trey right there. Thank you, Trey. It's going to get banned. It's going to get banned on every media. No, I'm just kidding.
At least he's got drawers on.
Yeah, yes, thank God. That could have got really bad. What do you mean y'all can't see anyone?
What?
You should be able to see everyone now. Maybe that's all.
I've got the stream up and I can see us all on the stream. So
okay, all right. So Mackie and Mr. Big Hurt. Okay, let's try this.
Balls now. Okay.
Oh, look at us. This is all working now. I love it when a plan comes together. Okay, fellas, here's what we're going to do first. We are going to watch this trailer and pause through it, and then we'll hit up the blog because the blog had a whole lot more stuff. We are going to keep this muted because I don't want to get hit with a copyright, and there is a very good chance that I'm going to get hit with a copyright. Big Harry, you should have said something. I would have added you. It's too late now. There's no way. This take way too long to add you now. But I do have it set up where all of us can be here. All 6 of us. It's set up now that you guys will be here and beautiful and ready to go. Okay, fellas, we're going to watch this trailer. You're going to have to watch this thing on your own. I apologize for that for the 2 fellas here on the stream with me. But let's watch it. I'm going to pause it. We'll talk through it. Says game engine footage, not all images will appear in game. That just means that they are doing their little magic to it to make it do what it do. Okay, I think everything's working the way that we want it to. So let's do this. Let's move this over here, and then we're going to jump right into it. We'll get this thing playing. Here we go. The player movement looks pretty good. You can see they have 18 mascots added to the game, including spending a lot of time to get the Falcons mascot to jump off of the roof, which is what I think all Falcons mascots and players should do. They should just jump right off of the roof. Does that matter to y'all? Like, do you really care?
In my offline stuff, when I'm, playing on my own, it's cool to have. But yeah, in our league, it's not really a big deal to me.
Really, they should have an option where, like, online, offline, you can turn it on, turn it off, not watch it, so you don't have to button push like 15 million times to try to get through it.
I will say it's worth the extra 10 to 15 seconds if there are multiple ones that we can watch, as college football was this past year. If it's the same over and over, it's like, okay, I've seen this cutscene a billion times. Can we please get through it? But it's a small price to pay for more just immersion and get me back into it. What up, Coffee? Good to see you. Happy birthday, brother. So we've got more immersion. We've got the flyovers. It all looks awesome. The coaches, they're hitting up. They're dapping up. New coach archetypes. I don't know that I would label them new. I think EA doing the little trickery that EA does. They call things new. Did Jesus show up in Maniac's room? What has happened? Holy cow. My guy's got bright all of a sudden. Turn that thing down. You're going to blind yourself. This is the same that we've always had, that you get to pick. I mean, they've changed the names and they've changed some of the back end things and the extra things that you can do. But overall, Nice Songer, you turned 40 today? Congrats, brother. I'm 5 years ahead of you, though. So you got to catch up.
All down there.
They're going to break them down. We'll get into the breakdown here. So offensive guru, defensive genius, development wizard. We're all going to start with these. And I like the sort of breakdown, the little user UI that I can kind of see here of like all offense, all defense, or a little bit of everything, but really good player development. I'm not going to lie. If I'm going to pick development wizard, I want some personnel development and I want a little higher player development. If you look at the offense and the defense, they got 5 bars on both offense and defense, and then 2 on player development. On the other one, you get 2 offense, defense, but only 4 player development. Give me that 5th bar. Maybe give me 1 offense, 1 defense, and then give me 2 player development or personnel development. I think that would be a little bit. I'm fine tuning some of the work here, but I think that could be a little bit better. Anything here on the coach types? You're muted. Both of you are muted. I don't know why. It looks like you muted yourselves and forgot to unmute, which is a good thing. As Trey's having a full-blown conversation right now. I wonder if they can hear us. You think they can hear us?
I don't know.
Oh, they can hear us. Sorry, Maniac. He didn't even look at me. Just thumbs up.
No, I looked at this. I was looking on the website too, on the blog. I was trying to understand this a little bit more and stuff. And I don't know if I fully comprehend everything that's going on because I just read through it really quickly and watched this really quickly and stuff. But I do like that it's not just limited to just like offense, defense. Like there's some things that you can do in game for season. So it kind of opens up a little bit more, I guess, customization. I think it also possibly could open up some things for exploiting too, maybe. I don't know. That's kind of what I got from originally kind of looking at it and stuff, I was like, oh, that's probably going to be, something where guys could stack certain ones together and kind of create an OP type thing. So, but anyway, it's always something you have to deal with when they add all these neat little things that they add. And but I do like the concept. I think it's cool. I think it brings a little bit of a different dimension than what we've been used to.
Yeah,
But,
they heard I hate abilities. They said, "Here, hold my beer. I'm going to one up you. I'm going to give you a whole new coach ability." I would say the one sort of thing as a commissioner that I wish were different is that if you win, you get more coach XP, and there's no other way to sort of like. There's some minor things like they'll talk about weekly and daily and season goals, but like ultimately, if you win a bunch and you're really good, you get lots of XP. So you build your coach up. So I can't give extra XP. I can't go in and give an incentive where Trey can bump his coach even if he had a bad season. And so it starts to create a bit of a power dynamic between teams that win a lot and teams like me that don't win at all. And it's like, that becomes a little harder to sort of manage, but they're trying, and I got to give them that. Trey?
I will.
From what I read and looked at,
We'll come back.
They're remodeling the coaching tree that we've had from now, and they're known, instead of it being your head coach is strictly about development, your offense coordinators based on your offense, your defense coordinator based on your defense, and you're the player personnel. It sounds more like your head coach is going to have more to do. If you choose the development wizard, he's going to help you progress your players faster. But if you don't have the offensive and defensive coordinators to make up in the offensive and defensive skills, you're going to fall behind fast. And it's definitely going to be a part where, as Maniac was mentioning, if you pair the right things, this could get to a point where some restrictions are going to get put into place. I know, like, one thing I saw that there's an ability that you can get your quarterback's accuracy almost up for, I think, short accuracy almost up by like plus 10 in certain situations. But it's a tier 5 ability.
Yeah.
How hard is it to get there? They didn't really go into depth into that from what I saw. It'll be nice to once August rolls around, we get to actually open the game up and find that out. But for now it's just a retool of what we already have.
Yeah, we'll get it deeper into the deep dive once we get to the blog with Maniac. One more.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably something we could go more into the deep dive. That's what I was kind of pointing out to what Trey was talking about. Like, there's tiers where you get to a certain point, quarterback is like immune to pressure, and so that's something to.
If it's hard to achieve, I'm kind of fine with it. If it's not, and we can get there quick, we'll have to see.
Right. I mean, because like in real life, there's certain guys. Excuse me. In the NFL, pressure doesn't bother them. I mean, because they're key guys,
right?
Like the Patrick Mahomes and the Tom Brady's of the NFL. But if you have in a franchise like this, where out of 32 guys, 20 guys have this on their quarterback, that's like,
no, that's not what we want. You got new customization. Cool. I like it. Like, it doesn't make sense. Even though this dude looks like Caleb from Barstool to me, sort of. It's cool.
Do you know a lot of content creators got scanned, though?
Nice. I think they said 200 faces. I'd like to see more shoe options, but I get it. It's sort of who's going to pay to have their shoes scanned, that kind of thing.
Let me wear a hat.
You can see some new UI down here, which for me, in my custom graphics that I make for a season, is going to make my life absolutely miserable. I'm going to have to get creative on how I do that, because usually I cut it out from the same UI that we always have, and now there's like 20 different ones. Maybe I had that misunderstood, because in the video, it may sound like there was only 4, but there's a post on Twitter where there's like 20 or something like that. So I got to figure out exactly how many they have. But weekly strategy is now in the game. It's not now in the game. It's always been the game, but we're getting some new ones. So there's a coach abilities, game day and season abilities, wear and tear, which we will talk a lot about. I love that wear and tear is in here. And again, we'll go into the deep dive as we get a bit deeper. But one of the things that I think they touch on in the video here is the ability to customize who gets what practice reps instead of just entire groups. So I thought that was a really cool way to manage some of the wear and tear that you're going to get. New coach abilities. Again, I think there's 50 of these. There's a list out there.
48, I think, is what they said.
There you go. It's 20. What was it? It was 26 offense or 24 offense and 27 defense. I remember the defense had more than the offense.
Yeah, they said something like there's 47 season or I think game day abilities and like 27 or something season abilities.
And the catch-22 for me is we had them low this last season because, again, I'm trying to even the playing field from the guys who win all the time and the guys that don't hardly win. I just don't want to see level 50 coaches versus level 10 coaches by the time we get to season 3. But then we only play 5, sometimes 6 seasons. And if no one ever builds their coach up past 10, then it's like, okay, well, then we're not getting the best out of this. So there's a little catch-22. I have a feeling this year more than any, I'm going to be doing lots of just online sims, just like practicing to see what ends up happening. But you know what? Let's give it a try. It's at least they're putting forth some effort, and more than anything, it feels like you actually have something to do week in, week out, and in between games. So I don't have to hear Bill scream at me that games are taking longer than 24 hours to play.
Hey, he's got something to do now.
Now, I want to see how long it takes to sort of earn some of these. I thought the staff ones were really cool. The trainer ones sound awesome. Again, it's just more opportunities for Trey to build his team the way he wants to and Maniac to build his team the way he wants to, and more ammo for me to say when you get an injury, well, you didn't build your team right. So I just, I can just blame the team for it. You can see some more UI down here. What do they call these? There's a word that they call these.
Score bug.
Score bugs. Stupid name. Anyway, more score bugs down here, which again is going to make my life miserable, but they look cool and they're going to make the games feel different, which is something we need.
And something they announced in the deep dive, just to go with the score bugs, how they brought in the new commentary teams this cycle. Each commentary team will be specifically assigned to Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. They'll then put
and then random for your other games.
Yeah.
I want to know right now in the chat, or if you're watching this a little later, tell me in the chat, do you keep commentary on? Is the first thing I turn off. I've listened to some of your games with it on. I do not know how you play with that crap on. It's just, it is mind-blowingly bad. It is really, really bad. Maybe it'll be better, but I just get tired of hearing the same 7 phrases over and over. It's 18 seconds delayed. I've already scored an 80-yard touchdown. They're like, a big play is coming. I'm like, what are we watching here? How do y'all listen to this junk?
I usually listen to it the first season, and then after that I start turning stuff off, turning it down, because it does get repetitive. Now I'd be interested to see if, with AI improvements and stuff, if they capture these guys' voices, will these voices be able to learn as the game progresses and the seasons progress? Are these AI abilities going to be able to kind of keep up with the flow of the franchise as it moves forward? That'd be interested to see if they're able to implement that.
Yeah, and it would especially be like once we get into our later seasons, like say for example, the Commanders, they go on a bad season, they had the first overall pick, but then you get to the playoffs and they're the top seed if they have some sort of different commentary for that.
Boys, we're in trouble. We're 30 minutes deep in this scene, and we're a minute and a half into a 4-minute video. Oh my God! The commissioner and me, as I was watching this portion of the video, went, "What a bad throw!" And immediately I knew if that was an owner here, they'd be like, "This game sucks. The defensive coverage is too." No, you just made a bad play. Look at that. Just throwing this thing right in the center where there's a safety just waiting. No, you just made a bad play, homie. Don't find yourself in 3rd and 21. Play sheets, very, very interesting. I don't know how they're going to affect a CFM. We all use most of us use custom playbooks. This is going to be really interesting to me about how this is going to work. Does it get voided out? Is it not an option if you use a custom playbook? Like, it's neat. It's a neat idea. I just don't know how it's actually going to work for an online CFM.
I just look at it this way: is we have that current system where it's like, oh, you want to throw deep. It's just that remodeled.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious too on that, and the fact that the assistant coaches play a role in this, and then are they actually real assistant coaches being added to the game? If not, if you got generic stuff,
It looks generic, but I could be wrong.
and I kind of wonder, like some of the super teams that have like good coaching staffs, are they going to be that much more dominant and unable to unseat them because they have such better coaching staffs to start off with? Like, say for instance, if I'm taking the Cardinals, got a decent head coach, but his coaching staff got depleted this last season. A lot of them went to Dallas and different places. Well, you may have like a tier 3 assistant coach or whatever, and all the rest of the guys that have like a 20 or above or whatever. Is that going to be such an impact that's going to be hard to overcome, and really affect the outcome of games? Again, it's one of those things that you have to get in hand and see, but there are a lot of questions around it, a lot of excitement around it, but a lot of questions too. So
Wear and tear, I love it. They've tweaked some things about it from college football, but I love wear and tear. I like these cutscenes. Those are kind of neat. The guy laying on the board, his friends dapping him up. I love what this looks like. Now, we have to get it in hand. We have to see the playability for a full year, but the ability to manage the reps the players get and be like, yo, you might have to sit some of your superstar older players, Priest, and not get XP for them because you need them to be healthy. Like, you're just adding in layer of strategy and engagement. I think that's really good stuff.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It still looks a little strong. Like, just being honest, like -10 acceleration, -10 speed, -11 change of direction. Like, that feels a lot.
When you've gotten your legs taken out from underneath you consistently, you kind of do lose your ability to move.
That's fair. That's a lot.
Maybe that's why. Excuse me. Some of the ability for the coaches and stuff, +10 speed, acceleration, things like that, may help combat some of those issues that you may have in a game.
The UI on the franchise looks the same, just touched up a little bit, which I like. It looks a little cleaner. They said they fixed the menus and the lag on the menus, which is like, yo, I'm not patting you on the back for that. I'm sorry, that's like not pat on the back worthy.
Done.
But thank you for doing that and getting that figured out for us. You can see your overall, your coaches. It looks better, so we'll see. I never loved these scenarios, and the main reason is it felt like some of the scenarios were way, way too impactful that set you up to lose. So I'm interested to see how they are this year, and I also felt like some of the options were just too gimmicky. I don't know. They just felt too, it wasn't an enjoyable experience, and I tried to skip most of them, but we'll see if they've made some improvements there.
Didn't enjoy Puka Nakua telling me I had to give him like 4 carries a game.
Yeah, it's just stupid things like that. Some of these cutscenes look super cool. I don't think they're going to be, I think like this was probably superstar mode or whatever, but they look cool.
I mean, they're saying this is franchise, so if they're showing superstar, then...
Well, you know how they do their little editing magic. They never spoke to the Rich Eisen part, so I felt like that was a little Easter egg, or maybe I just missed it. But is Rich Eisen doing a show in the franchise?
Rich Eisen will have, I believe, something, but also Scott Hansen will have like a halftime show as well.
I've seen the Scott Hansen thing, but I may have just missed it, right? May have just missed the Rich Eisen thing, but again, more engagement. Give it to me. Some of these look really bad. The whole coach, like this looks good. The whole coach in a press conference, it just looks. It's like, come on, we can't do better than that. It felt like it looks really bad.
Yeah, some of them really look like they're just kind of pieced together.
Brothers and sisters of Jesus Christ, the Lord, our Savior, that snow right there. Good luck. I like it.
I can't wait till Nick gets a snow game. He can't see more than 15 yards downfield.
I dig it, but man, I can hear the tears flowing into the chat as we speak. I dig it.
I was going to say, just wait until you have to play like Buffalo in the snow and they're wearing all whites. You won't be able to see like where their players are. Like you just throw it to them and never even know.
Now,
I want this to be a thing though. If there's too much snow, Buffalo has to play in Detroit.
That's funny. The new packages for the special games look awesome, especially the intro packages. They have the Who Dat chant. That's amazing. I wonder though, as others have pointed out, like if Tyrann Mathieu retires or gets cut, does he still come out and do the Who Dat chant in a Saints uniform? We'll have to see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Definitely nice to have those kind of features in.
I love the concept of a halftime show with highlights from all of your games. And I think it opens up a lot of creativity for those of you who want to get your hands dirty on some content. We'll have to see how it works.
I don't think that, given how they've done halftime, I don't think that's going to work in our league. That'll be more of a offline thing.
But it said your friends' highlights. Specifically, it said you get to see your friends' highlights, which...
Oh,
I was watching a video today from the content maker that I'm just being petty about and will not name. He said first time ever that's a thing.
Floyd Mayweather?
Maybe. He said that's the first time ever that's been in a video game. I could have swore there was some Maddens that you could actually, maybe it was 2Ks or whatever, that you could see your friends' highlights.
He's too young. He can't remember.
Yeah, maybe so.
The Madden cycle, they didn't have a halftime show to say, but they had like I think it was the extra yard or something like that, and like Madden 11 and 10, something around that time frame.
All right, we're wrapping it up, and then we're going to get to the blog for another 7 hours. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Get your coffee ready. Core improvements, draft logic, it doesn't really bother us. Outside of those of you who are not here, don't set a draft board, so maybe it bothers a small percentage. Unique draft prospects, I like it. I've always complained that NFL rookies and Madden-generated rookies are never one for one. They never match up. The NFL rookies are always way, way lower. Team needs logic, improve sim stats, not a massive thing here. Revamp player tag logic, dev trait regression logic. That's a big thing for a lot. I don't get caught up in it, but I get it. I get those of you who absolute hate it. One of them is on the show. As well as retirement logic has been better. There was something else that I'm drawing a blank on. Oh, the 50. We always do custom, but the like default logic for player and position regression for just not just dev traits, but just the regression has also been tweaked. So we may have to just test a whole bunch of things. So we may have to start a little later than normal. But yeah, what do you think about the improvements?
Sorry, Bill.
From what I read, just in the regression portion of things, I think it is a massive improvement. Because let's face it, Tom Brady was still playing pretty dang well. What, age 40 when he retired?
He was Tom Brady.
I know, but you get those generational
not
talents.
Tom Petty, you know.
You get the generational talents though that they just don't drop off. Like Barry Sanders was what, 33, and probably could have still went for another 4 or 5 years before he called it quits. And Madden, it just seemed like you hit 28 and you were going downhill immediately afterwards.
And the one thing I want is like a whole franchise full of generational talents.
100%.
But I do see like the benefits hopefully from this is like I know we've had several like our import players and stuff that we've brought over. Some are like 28, and they had a dominating season. May have led the league in interceptions and tackles. Different things. And at the end of the season, they get a dev bump up to X Factor, whatever, and then after the Super Bowl, they get bumped back down to star. And you're like, why? They were the leading intercepting cornerback, or they were the leading linebacker, top linebacker in the league. Why are they dropping? So the logic and a lot of stuff just didn't make a whole lot of sense. And EA that's kind of been one of their bugaboos or whatever. Is just that some of those things that they implement don't work properly. So if they got this working properly, then it's going to be a plus and a plus for the rest of the franchises. And speaking of the highlight stuff, just a little bit, I know we went past that already, but I think I saw something where they were talking about you could the highlight creator or whatever inside of it. They wasn't for sure if it was just for PC gamers, whatnot. But if that is the case, and they're talking about seeing your friends' highlights, I have a feeling that there's going to be some kind of highlight creator inside each game at the end that we can create a highlight, upload it to that highlight show, and if that's the case, it's going to be so super awesome.
Well, for the three of us that'll do it. But yes, I agree with you. Let's get into the coaches. So custom coaches, we're just going to run through the blog. If you got something to say it. If not, we're just going to keep this baby rolling. 200 new heads, 30 new thousand combinations that you can make. I cannot wait to see one coach looking like he just woke up from, a bender all night long, and the next one to look like he's going to the club. So
why is that nipples?
It should be a fun combination. That may have been who popped into my head. Coach archetypes. Again, we touched on it. Offensive, defensive development. Again, I just feel like, I don't know, maybe the development is going to be fine. I just feel like, man, they could use a little bit more in there. Like, you're a development wizard, but you get none in personnel development, but the offensive and defensive does. So it's like, I think that could be a little bit more balanced. We'll see exactly.
Personnel development, I think, is it's more of if you're
it's like re-signing players and that kind of stuff.
That's not what I was interpreting from it. It'd be more so like you're not going to be able to help boost your assistant coaches up.
It's the last tab in the current tree right now, which is ability to re-sign. I don't remember them all, but
it's the ability to re-sign and get discounts on trades.
That was it. So maybe not super useful for us, but we'll see. Coach metagame, so you can see tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. All of these abilities or things that you can add to your coach. Again, I think that'll be neat. I always just struggle personally with the gimmickiness of the game that removes the pure, like, I built a better team, I coached a better game, I'm a better player than you and I won. Not, oh, I did more gimmicks than you did, and so I won the game. Like, that's always kind of the catch-22 for me.
I'm just going to put this out there. There's one person that should have an automatic ability ban on the coaches. Dwayne's not allowed to have head stigmas. Just putting that out there.
Which one is that?
Hit stigmas gives your defenders a higher hit stick time and win a chance to form fumbles. He is not allowed that ability.
That's hilarious. Somebody else here is really good at it. He's great at it. It's annoying how good at it. Bird's pretty good at it too.
I was going to say Bird, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot here that you guys can dig into. Our goal is not to sit here and read this, word for word. Basically, we got to get it in hand and see how it's going to actually play. They're giving you the ability, though, to tier up your coach and build your coach in a very specific way. And we're just going to have to try some things and see what works and what doesn't work as far as how much ability to give you. Do we keep it slow, on, off? Like, what are we doing exactly? And then we get into build the perfect game plan, which includes your coach abilities, loadouts, and how loadouts have made its way into sports games. It's a little beyond me. Game day season abilities, and then the wear and tear, which I think is really, really great. And I love the ability to, again, decide how I'm building my coaches and what am I pouring into my trainers and giving the ability for players to recover. That's going to be really cool.
Definitely.
The loadout thing, I do like, and I see I guess the concept of it is like basically planning a weekly strategy that plays to what you feel like you're going to be playing against the next week or whatever, and then you can change it. There was a couple of things I saw it though, and where it's talking about like weekly strategy and stuff, and it showed like, for instance, like on defense, playing a 4-3 base, 3-4 base, and a 46, I think something else. But I was like, really, truly, honestly, that's not sim or basic to real life, because you have a team that's built around a 4-3 or a 3-4. They may have some capabilities of playing both of those fronts, but in reality, you're going to play one front or the other, and making those type of changes, you have to make those in off season, because you got to make sure you have the personnel to actually run that effectively. And switching back and forth, one week 4-3, next week 3-4, it just don't make any sense.
Even like as being a Lions fan, we don't even necessarily run a base 4-3 or 3-4. We're more, our base formation is like big nickel G. So it's going to be interesting to see how those get implemented.
I'm interested to see how many coaches there are when it comes to coordinators in the bucket. I feel like they were pretty limited, and they didn't speak to numbers. They love numbers. As you see, they don't speak to, there's 50 new coordinators to choose from, which makes me tend to believe it will be pretty low. And then we have to get into like, how much of that do I want to police? How much do I not want to police? It's already hard to beat the D Waynes, the D Moneys, the Denbrews, all the D's in our league. How much harder is it going to be to beat those guys if they also have the best coaches? I don't know. It feels like it could get pretty complicated. We just got to get the game in hand and see how it works. Play sheets.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go.
I was going to say, I don't know how we would implement it, but those that may have had, like, say, for instance, Dwayne, he's been basically a one-loss team every season, 1 or 2 loss team every season. He would be, like, if there's a ability to pull those coaches to a coaching staff, whatever, from free agency of coaching list, that he's on the bottom of the list. Say, for instance, you've only had one winning season. This
Why are you bringing up my past like that in front of everybody?
I'm sorry. Well, Trey. Trey said. No, but like where it's like, okay, you have first pick, and there's kind of a pecking order to make sure like those that are like top dogs that have been running it time and time again, don't have the first pick of that, over other guys that have less success.
The play sheet thing, again, we have to get it in hand. Some of this we're sort of piecing it together, but my worry is that I think I just counted 5 that you can have, and each of them have 20 extra plays. It's like we already have 500 playbooks, like custom playbooks that you can build on top of another 200 plays that you can add to it. We're getting into a weird place here. So again, we'll have to see how this plays and what it feels like, but there's some slight concern that this could get weird, and I don't want to see the boost get weird. The other small thing I'll say, and then we'll get into managing your staff or more comments, but it's mainly around the overalls of the team. You can see here, we got 87 overall against 83 overall. In our league, go look right now. It's like 95, 97, 99. It's like we allow players to get built up so quickly because that's what players want. You want to develop talent. We're going to have to find a bit of a balancing act there because if you already got 95 overall teams by season 3 and you're adding all these boosts on top of it, it's like we're not playing the game as it was to be designed.
Yeah, it almost becomes the feature that they have even teams or whatever when you play offline or whatever, each team, if everybody's got 95s and 96 overall teams and, there's no real separation, between, it's so easy to build my team, there's some guys that are just great at it and they should be rewarded for it. Other guys that struggle. I kind of struggle building. I can kind of keep a team together, but I have a struggle to build a team truly into a powerhouse. So, that is something that if I struggle at, I should either figure out and not just get rewarded from the game because the game is just, rewarding it for whatever reason. And so, but that could be kind of a slippery slope where everybody's got, you got a Rolls Royce, and so, everybody's driving the same car, but it just comes down to who's better on the sticks, and that's kind of something that we want to get away from here in the LMFL. It's not all just about sticks and the skills that you're able to do with those, but your team building and your execution of maybe a game plan and different things like that should all play a part.
Coach Central, they said they'll give us more on that a little bit later, but the approval rating, which my very first thought was like, ooh, we don't use real life coaches. We don't hire fire coaches. We custom create coaches. But a thought, again, we have to get this in hand, is if maybe an incentive is if you get too low and it's taking things from you, you're allowed to create a new coach and like fire yourself and hire your new coach. Again, we got to get this in hand, but maybe that's a way that we can sort of do that. I also hope they give us the ability to reset. Why am I losing the name of it? Morale. It was like momentum was stuck in my head, but yeah, morale, because it drives me nuts that we can't do that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Coach storylines, do we care?
They can be cool, but not really.
New traits. They've added a ton of new traits. I thought the number was 50 new traits. Yeah, 50 unique player traits. My only thing is like how many of these will be actually added to rookies as they enter. That would be cool. But I like how college football did it last year.
The way I'm taking it, that players could obtain them.
Nice.
Based on their different play styles.
Boy, the energy in this chat is just dying. Oh yeah, there hasn't been a chatter in the last 40 minutes of this thing. Okay, opposing coach DNA and real-time coaching AI doesn't really matter for us because we're a full human league. I hope that we can turn that off in game. I just don't want AI telling people what plays to call. Like, learn your playbook. That should be a skill that you have to earn around here. Wear and tear system. So they're adding in the kind of version 2.0 of it. I love that if you're going to spam a receiver, spam a quarterback, spam a running back, you're going to get them hurt. And I like that. And I think that's something we should see. Nipples, Colin, who else spammed wide receivers? Penguins.
D-Money.
Yeah, D-Money. Yeah, he's probably the worst one of all of us.
That's going to be great. I mean, I feel like, really, truly honestly, like that's not a thing. And my cat's going crazy in the background, so I don't know if you hear it or not. But that's not a thing in real life. I mean, yeah, you may have a couple games where you put together where you have a receiver gets 10 catches or whatever. But after the second game, and that third team's like, all right, we're gonna bracket, double team, triple team this guy, he's not going to beat us. And a lot of times you'll see the guy only have like 1 reception or 2 receptions in the game.
Calvin Johnson.
Unless it's Calvin Johnson, then that's we don't see that many Calvin Johnsons, every once in a while. So
yeah, they thought DK Metcalf was going to be that. He's really not.
His name is Hal, and he plays for the Saints right now. I love this part right here. In the past, injuries came with a fixed number of weeks for recovery. That is gone. Now when they get injured, it is a range of weeks, and you get to decide how you're going to approach trying to get that guy back. Are you going to force him to get back? Are you going to take your time? I think that's awesome.
I like that.
Like that, for a key example, is D-Wayne had those 2 stars get injured in week 17. Now he gets that bye week. Does he take the chance of rushing them back to get into the divisional round, or does he let them sit and rest and hopefully make them back for the Super Bowl?
Bird, I think it's going to be hits in like interactions, not just like how many catches or how many plays or throws.
Yeah,
I think
it'll be the
be
contact.
It'll be the contact. The dynamic injury sounds awesome. I think it's going to be great. New statuses out, doubtful, and questionable. That's kind of neat. Let's just see how that works. Trainer roles. So you got a new trainer on your team. Again, can we fire better trainers? Or is it just like everybody gets the same one? You have to kind of boost them up and pour into them. So I don't know. Let's see.
Preferably, I'd be on the side. I'd rather everybody start off the same and you build it.
Yeah.
You got to put the XP into it. Maybe you take away from something else, put the XP into your trainer. Like I said, if there's only like 3 or 4 of those guys out there that are like top-notch trainers, D-Money's going to be on the front door. Make sure he's going to get one of those right away. It's just kind of the thing. And like a lot of the guys, like say, not anything against like a Twinkie or a Priest or some of the guys that have been the low man on the totem pole for like a long time. They're kind of unengaged with a lot of the things about the game, except for like gameplay, like man the game stuff.
I agree.
They'll be behind the 8 ball right away, and so again, all these things like that. I think if you're able to build them, I think that's the best way to do it. But if they're given, you got a level 20 and the rest of everybody else is like level 10, 12, it's dumb in my opinion.
I said it in chat. If you like immersion and you like depth, you're going to probably love this. If you don't, you're probably going to hate it. That's probably how this is going to go.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if guys don't really dig into the game and learn the integral parts of the game, you're probably going to be behind the 8 ball. And, if you're not winning games, you play pretty solid, but you're not winning games. You got to understand, like, you have to dig into every aspect of the game and see what it has to offer. And if not, there's going to be a lot of frustration, and that may be where turnover happens. Guys just give up on the game and say, I'm going to leave it. And unfortunately, that's what happens sometimes.
New presentation. Here are your broadcast teams for those special games that we have. Again, they only show 4 here, but I could have swore there's something out on Twitter that speaks to a bunch. And they don't, let me see. Before I say it, no, it says inclusion 4 different broadcast packages, but that's the package of the intro and stuff. It's not specifically the scoring bug. I'll have to go find that, but I think there are more than 4. I could be totally wrong about that and maybe have misunderstood that. Anything about the broadcast?
Not really.
Again, it's one of those things, like, it can be really cool, especially on offline. Online, though, I think, there's some times where, it can be cool. You'll stop and sit there and listen to it. Other times, you're time strapped, maybe the guy's already 15 minutes late to your game, and you're like, I only got a window of like an hour and a half to play this game. So it's like all right, let me get through it.
This is going to turn hour and a half games into almost 2 hours. I promise you it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just
so it's going to bring frustration.
yeah. Unless you can
Otherwise,
skip through it, but then you got to hope both guys can skip through it. So we'll have to
Exactly.
see. Here's what we talked about a little earlier. You'll see highlights from across the league in the halftime report, bringing the world around you to life in franchise mode. It doesn't just end with CPU highlights. For the first time in any NFL video game, so clearly I'm wrong, you'll also see your friends' highlights appear at halftime in a multi-user online league. When a friend's highlight is chosen for the show, their customized player card will also appear on screen. If it's a highlight from a game with 2 players in your online league, you'll see each of their player cards. That's super cool.
I love it.
And I'm just reading a little bit further into this. It sounds like Scott's going to have some specific calls. Like if a tight end scores a touchdown in week 8, he's going to call out that it's National Tight End Week and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
I
Nice.
love the weekly recap as well. A new feature on demand in the franchise hub is a way to experience highlights from leagues, from games across the league. I think that's super, super cool. And I hope a lot of people take advantage.
I'm trying to catch up. Did it say franchise hub?
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some new things that we'll get to look at. So, halftime report, weekly recap, which includes highlights. You'll also get to see your
Are they
own
going to do our
highlights.
job for us?
Say that again.
Are they going to do our job for us?
We'll see.
Are we not going to have to do the recaps on Press Pass anymore?
It will be fun to be able to have something to watch together and give our feedback on. I don't know. We'll have to see how this plays. Football weather. We talked about the snow. That's pretty bad. That's pretty tough to be able to see. I love that this one receiver doesn't have an icon above because they're too far down the field. Fellas,
yeah.
I'm going to let y'all talk about this. I need a mute. I guess I got a back-to-back phone call. I need to make sure everything's good. So y'all take off about the weather.
Yeah, like I know. I'm hoping that also they're going to implement what the college football is with the linemen if your quarterback's smaller. But just having this is going to be a neat little feature, especially like you were mentioning. If Buffalo's wearing those white jerseys in the snow out, you throw a ball thinking, "Oh, hey, I don't see anybody near," and then just as that ball gets right to your receiver, the Bills defender comes out and intercepts it. I'm gonna hate to have it happen to me, but I'm gonna love to watch it happen to somebody else.
Right. Yeah. Even the screenshot right here they're showing. I'm trying to like zoom in on it.
Yeah, it's Kansas and Los Angeles.
Yeah, Kansas
And
City and
Mahomes-
Los Angeles.
You can
Mahomes
see.
can only see 2 receivers, but you can barely see the defender like right by them both.
Yeah.
you
So
can't.
my old man eyes right now. I can't see the defender. All I see is the yellow rainbow up there on top for the passing.
But here's what I like about that. You better change your game plan when you're coming in this game. You think I'm just going to keep 5 wide and freaking running vertical routes. You better think again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's going to be an interesting aspect is like for guys that are safety and the corner users, are they going to have issues trying to keep up with the receiver deep downfield because they're not going to know where he is?
Yeah, that's another thing too. Or you're going to be highlighted. That may kind of give you away, like oh, I'm roaming around back there. I can't see anything, but I see the little highlight of the player. So I wonder, with it being far down the field, is it going to hide the player icon too for the defense?
It's supposed. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I see what you mean.
Yeah, so you could be lurking back there in the shadows, sort of say, and be able to bait somebody in a situation like that. But yeah, it's just really neat. I mean, it's that to me brings immersion of real life situations where in real life in that kind of a blizzard. Yeah,
That kind of game, I'm sorry, Nate. I'm breaking FPR. I'm running the ball more than passing.
Well, in
Yeah,
those kind of games, we may allow you, but you got to still hit those minimum passes.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, there may be like some exceptions that have to be made.
Yeah, we're gonna have to rethink a lot of things.
Even a short slant or whatever, just may go wild and crazy, and you can't even complete it. Especially if you're using a young quarterback. This is Mahomes here we're talking about too. But if you got an young import, maybe
That happens when JJ McCarthy goes to Lambeau and this happens.
Oh man, ball every time he goes to throw the ball, it slips out of his hands or some weird animation happens and stuff. I'm sure it's going to cause a lot of havoc. Owners like, I can't play in the snow. I hate the snow, but it's cool and it's realistic. So I like it.
It touches speed, acceleration, change of direction. EA, you got 2 periods right there. Get better. Speed, acceleration, change of direction, kicking. I also like here it says when it's scorching hot, you get the same thing as cold weather. Your other teams are going to fatigue more quickly. And the team that's used to that is going to have higher stamina. I wonder, is this going to also affect dome teams? So, like, even though we're in the South, is the other team still going to get fatigued even though we're playing in a dome? It's like, I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out.
How is this going to play in Massimo's favor with Miami in their stadium? Because Miami's specifically built so that the sun's not built into hitting on the home team, but it's crushing against the away team.
Sweat bowl.
Improved draft logic. Do y'all care about that at all? Again, I know that you guys are both with me all the time, most of the time on the draft shows, so you're always usually here. The other guys of the world, they tap out either completely. I don't think Dwayne's ever drafted in this league at all.
I think his wife's drafted for him more than he's drafted.
My guy just doesn't like to draft, or I don't know. Maybe it's just the thing that just it hits at a bad time for him all the time. But I don't know. It sounds cool. Hopefully it's cool. But don't super care.
I mean, if it's improved.
Yeah, I like it just on the fact of if it's improved, then when guys are not able to make it and they have to get their sim pick, like I think Penn's was talking about in our last draft, they drafted him like 2 defensive ends and he didn't need defensive ends. So if they're going to go out and actually, okay, this is a weakness and this guy's on the board, we'll take him over maybe the guy that's the best player, but you have that like a TJ Watt at that position.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if it's improved, and there's always probably going to be a time where somebody's going to miss a draft. I mean,
absolutely,
it's going to happen. So, if the game is going to be more logical about making the picks for you, if it has to, you can feel a little bit more easy about I had to miss the draft, but the AI is going to take care of me and draft my needs and get the best player available for what I need at that point in time. I know, like right now, it's just it's a crapshoot. It's like you miss the draft or you miss a round, first 2 rounds. You're like, and you can't even see the player's rating until at the end. So you're like, did I get a good player? Is he not a good player? And so that in itself kind of leaves you up to kind of think, well, do I need to go ahead and draft another one because I don't know if this guy's. I didn't see any kind of ratings on him whatsoever.
I wish there was more ability to have bust, but I get it.
Yeah, there needs to be. I mean, it's just it happens. It's real life.
We need more Jawalruses.
They're saying one of the biggest improvements that they've made is draft prospect generator. Now, I like all the things that they're saying, except for one that worries me, and it is this. First, one-of-a-kind tight ends. That scares me. Also, the gimmick, what do they call it? Gadget players, exciting gadget players. Like, how many of these will be in there? And do you still give me the same ability that I currently have to set those myself? And if so, then cool, I'll set it myself to where I want those to be super, super rare.
Yeah,
I think we'll see the sliders adjust for those gadget type players.
They have to.
I'm also happy now that we're finally getting, Sam, Will, Edge, and Max instead of middle linebacker, left outside linebacker, right outside linebacker, because that's going to come in tow in contract. Because you would have a outside linebacker that's a pass coverage linebacker, but he's a 99 overall, but he wants outside a pass rusher money. Like, you're not going to pay a guy that's out there to cover $80 million to cover a ball.
Yeah.
You're wanting $80 million. You're wanting that guy to go put the quarterback into the ground.
Retirement logic. I never found retirement to be terrible, but cool that they're trying to make that a little bit more realistic.
Yeah. Nice. Like they mentioned with Derrick Henry here in the articles, like there would be times where Derrick Henry he's a dominant running back. He's probably going to be for a couple of years still, but it was one and done. You play one season and you go from 98 to 84, and then by the next season he was 78 and gone.
Well, let's talk about that progression and regression logic. They're saying that they're following real life aging curves more closely with declining rates based on actual NFL data by position. We'll have to see. It's great talk. It's a big game to talk about. If we know anything, usually version 1 is okay. Version 2, version 3 will get better and better as we go. We'll have to see. But it says in the past, a player could drop multiple tiers in one offseason. That is now gone. They only drop 1 tier per season. And instead of it being random, which all of you loved a lot, it is now more closely based on their age, their actual stats that they're doing, and how they're playing. So again, I'm sure there will still be a lot of complaints, but you can at least see that they're addressing the issue and trying to make it better.
No more rookie receivers going off and being, top 3 in stats and then going from X Factor to back to star or bronze, and a X Factor receiver that's 30-something years old that barely did anything, keeping his development rate.
Yeah, that's always been a big issue. I think that's the reason why we have progression incentives and stuff like that. It's really, I mean, truly, honestly, it shouldn't even have to have that implemented as a league. That should be taken care of inside the game if it's done properly. And so, hopefully, with all that said, if the game works properly the way it should, when the X Factor does fall off, he's, legitly needs to be falling off. He played really bad and he's getting old and slowing down and a lot of those things where, a lot of this stuff can kind of not maybe go away completely, but we can, bring that down and not have to worry about it as much, because, hey, most of the time it's the X Factor that's played and had a tremendous season, led the league in interceptions, receptions, touchdowns, whatever, and they drop all the way back down to start. It just made no absolute sense whatsoever. And so if the logic is there and it's working properly, then maybe a lot of this stuff will kind of fix itself out in the long run.
To impersonate my inner Tony from LC Science, game and season stats simulator, don't care. It could not interest me less than it already does.
Yeah, that's more for guys that are doing their offline stuff. Like, I'll enjoy that with my offline Lions franchise, but when it comes to the OMFL, I really could care less.
Yeah, the only thing that'll, like, say for instance, I know, I think I've heard other guys talk about it. I've actually thought about doing a superstar.
Me too.
Type of player, starting off in college or high school, go through college and the pros and stuff. I would like to see it where they had it where you could have a connected, a superstar player hub where we could all join, be a superstar, even through the ranks of high school. One's a quarterback, a couple guys are quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, cornerbacks, whatever, and play your games. But then, every once in a while you get to match up against each other and have to play each other and use your positional, whatever your position is, quarterback or cornerback, and you kind of get a matchup against each other and work your way up to the pros. I think that would be kind of cool. And so, like, this stuff right here would probably help, the logic of the game, even in like simulations, because a lot of this stuff is like a simulation thing. You only play when you're out on the field, and a lot of the older games were, say for instance, if you were playing on defense as a linebacker or a cornerback, your offense would have some like stupid stats, like they only ran the ball 4 times the game, and for 14 yards or whatever, and so. And even the logical sense of play calling coming from the coach when you were playing as your player would never call a play that included you in the actual play. So a lot of the stuff may kind of, I guess, be blanketed over all the modes like that. So any time that we have an actual sim game or whatever, at least it stands to be corrected, but at least they're saying that possibly is going to be better call. You get better stats out of all that stuff and not see dumb things happen in a simulation.
All right, fellas, in the chat, we are going to be wrapping up here pretty soon as we're coming to the end of the blog. Let me know any questions that you might have, things that you want us to talk about a little bit more, and then let me know what you think about the new stream. I've been working hard on it, and I think it looks pretty good. Morale changes sound pretty cool. We have to see again how it works, but one of the things they mentioned is that you have the ability to, if you sit a starter who's injured or sit a starter who's wore down, the guy who comes in gets a morale boost because they get to start. Or if you see a rookie who's starting to have a big game, they're going to get a morale boost. I think that's cool because those morale boosts come with other little attribute incentives and abilities to kind of grow. So I thought that was kind of neat. We'll have to see exactly how much it moves, but it looks good on paper.
Yeah, I like it. I like the player morale. We've talked about it on the negative side so many times that you have one bad game or you don't meet certain criteria, and then all of a sudden, like, you're a -2, -3, -4, whatever, and it's kind of hard to dig yourself out of a hole when that happens. So in those situations where you have a guy go down and you've got a young guy on your team, hey, you kept him for a reason. He's got the ability to play. He's got the talent, but maybe facing off against a tougher opponent that, say, for instance, your edge guy goes out and you got to bring in the younger guy. Well, he's facing a really top, tackle. Well, he's going to get a little bit of a boost because, hey, he's taken over from your superstar who sat down. He's like, all right, I've got the mandate to come in and play better, raise his game up, in this situation. You got to rise up, and when it's your time, you got to come out and be ready to play. And so it kind of mimics, I guess, that in real life. And, if your guy is able to play well, he'll continue to get those boosts and, help build him into a potential superstar as well, or a very good player on your team.
Revamp player tag logic. A lot of these are quarterback related. I think they're kind of neat. What I appreciate is their ability to say, hey, we tried this, it didn't work or didn't make sense, and so we're making it better. I appreciate that, even if it's not super like a big thing. I can appreciate a team working really hard to find where things don't work for their game, and they're trying to make it better.
I enjoy the fact that they're actually admitting a failure and saying, hey, we're trying to get it right. Here's what we've done so far.
I completely agree with you. News stories. Can I be honest with you? I never once look at the news stories. I just don't. It feels repetitive. It feels like
that's why you draft badly.
Probably so. But they're now saying the things that would interest me to go there, to look at it. They keep talking about Franchise Central, which is, I think, just a new buzzword for what we already currently have, or a version 3.0 of that, since we've had it for a few years. They are talking about draft prospects, top stories, combine reports, draft previews, weather forecast. Sounds like they might actually be things that we could use for content and go in there and read.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely like it. I like the attention to detail. I will occasionally scroll through the stories, but again, like you said, sometimes it's repetitive. It's like just very vague. Like, oh, rookie quarterback makes a start in Buffalo. New York's defense is going to have to be ready for the rookie quarterback. Type of stuff, and so it's not really in depth, but it is something. But if they really kind of build on it and make it kind of entertaining to the point where my deal is, if it makes you want to click on it, then it's done its purpose. So if you look at it like whatever, then no, it's not attention grabbing and waste of space.
That's it. That's all of it. They said that they are excited about it. They put a true labor of love. I think we're starting to see some of the benefits of them hiring the friend from the old head coach games. So maybe this thing will come together the way that we all hope it will come together. It should be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm cautiously excited. I haven't got the games yet. I haven't pre-ordered them yet.
According to your DMs, you ain't excited at all.
Well, my demeanor is a little bit. I've got so burnt out from this college. Really, basically burned me out because I was so excited for that game, and that game let me down so bad. And it'd been a long time since I've been so excited about a game, and it let me down so bad. So I think that's.
Tell me more about that. Why? Like what let you down about that game?
Well, I mean, just the simple fact that a lot of the features that it had for Dynasty, the big thing was I wanted to create a Dynasty where we could mix and match different teams and different conferences or whatever, and kind of build a mass conference or whatever, so where guys can compete. And the scheduling thing, it took them nearly to I think until January or something like that before they actually really had that where it was working. And it still never worked properly. There's even a dynasty of guys from the gaming tailgate. They're still going on in 25 right now. They just finished up, and still the scheduling thing is messed up. And so
yeah, ours
that was just,
OMFL college never worked.
So it got me down a little bit, and then just the fact that we had a settings bug that would just destroy any kind of head-to-head game sometimes, or even playing a CPU game where you're playing on, we had the all American settings or whatever, and then you start to play, or before the game would play, you had to check the settings because sometimes the game would automatically switch it to Heisman or even freshman, varsity. It was just so random. And sometimes it would even, one player you were playing would be on varsity and the other player would be on Heisman, and you could immediately tell a difference. Like your players couldn't do nothing against their team. Their team would just, even though you may have had a better overall team, their team would just, you couldn't get off a block. They would just 80-yard runs back and forth every time. It was nuts how that thing worked. And it just sired me on it. And I really just kind of got my full of it. Even though I'm a huge college fan, I love the college football game. But it just sired me. And just on that thing, Madden was probably the better game this year by far.
Which ain't saying a whole lot.
But again, it's one of those things, like just the little things that just kind of eats at you that the game doesn't do, and sometimes I let it get to me more than I should. But I think really, truly, honestly, though, the college football, that situation, because I had high hopes for the Deuce Dynasty, I had so many big dreams for it to really kind of take off, and I wasn't able to do it, and so that just kind of got me a little bit disgusted with EA, and I've been a little bit more of an EA critic, I guess, the last couple of months than I was before. But I sure hope that they have taken into account and fixed these games, because it sounds great. Everything they've posted, everything they've shown, it sounds great, but does it work?
Yeah, they got to deliver
does
now.
It work? And so that's what I'm waiting for. But I'm optimistic, very cautiously optimistic. So, but I'm truly hoping that what they're saying works, because if it does, I mean, it will be everything they've promoted. If it works the way it's supposed to work, I mean, I know it's a game. There's going to be little bugs here and there. I know it's a game, but if it works to the extent of what they're talking about, these two games are going to be the best games that they've ever put together.
Trey on the phone with his agent trying to get some more screen time here. So I'm going to turn it over to him for some final thoughts before we come to Maniac for final thoughts. But I also want to give credit where credit's due. Both your mics are awesome today. If you could just bring this to Press Pass Live for me so I could stop hearing the DMs like I'm personally screwing up y'all's microphones, that would be really awesome. Trey, closing thoughts as we get the franchise deep dive. It was pretty deep today.
Yeah, it's a lot of promising stuff. Obviously, I've learned my lessons of getting my hopes up too high. So I'm walking in with low expectations that it's all nice and fancy and none of it's going to work properly. And come August, what is it, 11th for deluxe edition when I'll have access to it. And then the 14th, and then whenever we get the league up and running and seeing how that goes, that the problems aren't there that they tend to normally have, and we don't get locked out of the game like we can do every year. Then it's all great and we're happy and ready to roll. And then obviously with college football, I'm excited to get that going. I know me, Maniac, and my buddy have talks about having something extra on the side with college football, so I'm hoping to get that up and running. And all in all, I'm looking forward to the countdown for the last 6 days until college football, and I think it's 40 days maybe until the access to the Madden starts.
It's counting down.
I'd love to have a coach league. I know those are pretty difficult we can't have it all. You can't do absolutely everything, but I think that will be a ton of fun. Mr. Maniac, final thoughts.
Yeah, my final thought, again, I'm cautioning my optimistic in the game, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. I know college football is basically 7 days away, I think. Yeah, I think that's right. So it may be less than that.
Monday at 10 o'clock my time.
Yeah, so the countdown is approaching on that really. Getting ready to get started on the Deuce Dynasty. It was going to be, which we did 6 seasons. The 6th season of Deuce Dynasty was a little bit, I guess there wasn't a lot of participation. It was a lower amount of guys playing in that, but they still finished it out. They finished the 6th season, so we're going to start our 7th season there for the next college football and stuff. So I have told the guys that we're not going to start like right away. Like before this last game, they were itching, and I think we started the dynasty within like 4 days or whatever.
And restarted like 4 times, I think. Yeah.
That was the beginning of the insanity of college football 25. So, so I think this time we're going to wait at least 2 weeks. We're going to get things figured out, bugs situated, whatever. Let them do their final update, and then we'll get started and get rolling. And so far, it seems like participation seems pretty high. I think we're going to have at least like last look, I think 24, 25, maybe 26 owners that have said that they are going to take a team in this next game. So
I even brought a fellow Canadian.
Yes, you did.
We're starting to get too many of those Canadians around here. No, I'm just joking. It's been fun.
You take over the GrownFolks.
It's been fun to watch how the NHL league has been growing. That's the problem, though. Now, how are we going to play NHL and play shooters and play college and superstar and coach only? And there's too many options going on here. So, well, fellas, thank you for
NHL night.
NHL night. Thank you guys for all fighting through some of the early bugs that we had. I'm going to go put some more final touches on some of this stuff. Then I got to work on the vertical stream, which we didn't put up today. But I'm going to get this thing edited and put out there as a video that will be much shorter. But I appreciate both Trey and Maniac coming and hanging out with us. Deep dive, it's all done. And there's a lot of stuff to deep dive into. Now we need to see them actually deliver, EA. You have to deliver. And that's going to be the next bugaboo. Guys, take care of yourselves. Take care of those around you. Make sure you know that you are mattered and you are loved. I cannot wait to see you again on the next one, which maybe tonight. I don't know. I need to finish this stuff, so I can't stream and finish this stuff. But soon we will do some more shows, and when more information drops about college and drops about Madden, we'll do this. Peace.
Peace.
Smash that like and subscribe